Hola y bienvenidos a todos. Hi and welcome everyone to a Speech Bubble Languages Spanish session with me, Louise, from Speech Bubble Languages HQ. Today's session is suitable for intermediate Spanish learners. We're going to be exploring today some questions related with your job, specifically your working routine. So make sure you're familiar with verb conjugations in the present tense. Also, that you are comfortable with both numbers, times, and days as well in Spanish. We're going to try out a couple of listening challenges today as well. So make sure you've got your pen and pencil to hand, ready to get cracking today. So to get ourselves started off with, then we're going to remind ourselves of something that we actually done in a previous lesson, where we're looking at descriptions of jobs and trying to match them with their correct job title. Can you match each of the descriptions with its appropriate job title in Spanish? There is one extra, there'll be one left over at the end. Are you able yourselves to create a sentence about that particular job? So hit pause here as you work your way through your starter activity. So number one says, sirvo comida en un restaurante. Soy camarero. Lavo el pelo de los clientes. Soy peluquero. Trabajo en un hotel. Trabajo como recepcionista. Doy clases a niños pequeños. Soy maestro. Trabajo con animales en el aire libre. Yo soy granjero. Muy bien hecho todos. I hope you got on well with our warm-up activity. Let's go straight on to our first challenge then for today. We are going to listen to two people talking about their jobs. It's your challenge to see if you can note down what job it is that they do, what they say about their timetable, so their kind of days of work or the start, finish time, etc. They're going to talk about how much they earn as well, their pay, as well as telling you how they get to their work too. So I'm going to play each of these audios one time over, but you're in control of the audio your side. So you can hit pause, you can rewind, you can listen to it as many times as you like, and make your notes in English as you go along. We'll take a look at the transcript on the next screen in a moment. Buena suerte todos. Good luck, everybody. Here is your first challenge. Can you tell me their job, when they work, how much they're getting in pay, and how they get there?
¿Tienes trabajo?
Sí, trabajo de recepcionista en un hotel.
¿Cuándo trabajas?
Los fines de semana de 9 a 5.
¿Está bien pagado el trabajo?
Bastante. Gano 76 euros a la semana.
¿Cómo vas al hotel?
Voy andando porque está muy cerca.
And here comes your second audio. Again, make notes in English. You're hunting for the same details.
¿Tienes trabajo a tiempo parcial?
Sí, soy dependiente en una tienda.
¿Cuándo trabajas?
De 8 a 6 los sábados.
¿Te pagan bien?
Bueno, 42 euros.
¿Cómo vas al trabajo?
Voy en autobús. Es muy difícil porque tengo que coger 2 autobuses y tardo 1 hora en llegar.
Muy bien, todos. Well done, everybody. So let's take a look, shall we, at the transcripts for those audios. So starting on the left-hand side, this person worked as a receptionist in a hotel. She's working at weekends from 9 till 5 and earns a relatively well-paid job, 76 euros each week. And she goes there on foot because it's nice and close to her home. Person number two is a shop assistant in a shop, in a store, working from 8 till 6 on Saturdays, getting 42 euros. Heads there on the bus. It's quite tricky for him though, it's difficult because he has to get two buses to get there and it's an hour, the journey, in getting there. I hope you did well with our beginner activity with our listening skills. So what about you? ¿En qué trabajas tú? ¿En qué trabajabas? What did you work as? What do you work as now? Remember from our previous video, to give your job title, you say trabajo como, then your job title, or alternatively, you can just say soy with your job title. For example, trabajo como profesora or soy profesora. ¿En qué trabajas? What do you work as? Can you give your job title in Spanish? Now let's take a look at the next question that our listening dialogue asked. ¿Cuándo trabajas? When do you work? ¿Cuándo trabajas? This answer will begin with the verb trabajo, I work. After that, you're going to have to give some sort of time, start and finish time, and perhaps talk about the day or days that you work. The easiest way to give your start and finish time in Spanish is simply to say de and then a. For example, I work from 9 till 5 would be trabajo de 9 a 5. What about your hours? Do you do a 9 to 5 as well? Or maybe you need a different set of numbers to give your start and finish time. Now, what about the days of the week? Can you remember them in Spanish? Lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado, and domingo. Now, if you're looking to tell us an activity that takes place on a repetitive basis in English, on Mondays, on Tuesdays, on Wednesdays, we need to make a slight change to the days of the week by putting the word los in front of them. Los lunes, los martes, los miércoles, los jueves, los viernes, los sábados, es on the end, and los domingos. So I work from 9 till 5 on Thursdays would be trabajo de 9 a 5 los jueves. ¿Y tú cuándo trabajas? What about you? When do you work? Now, if you are unfortunately having to work full weeks, could you imagine? You might want to be doing something a little bit quicker than just doing los lunes, los martes, los miércoles. You could use de lunes a jueves, de lunes a miércoles, de lunes a sábado, and tell me the day from and to, just like you did with your time. Alternatively, you could use expressions like durante la semana, during the week, and los fines de semana. Don't forget, if you want to extend your answer, you can tell me when you don't work as well by simply putting no in front of the verb. ¿Cuándo trabajas? When do you work? Yo trabajo de 9 a 3 los lunes, los martes y los miércoles. Trabajo de 5 a 9 los jueves y los viernes. No trabajo los fines de semana. ¿Y tú? ¿Cuándo trabajas? Can you answer that question in Spanish? Tell us a bit about your weekly working schedule. Now let's look at the next question that was asked of our speakers at the start of the lesson. ¿Cómo vas al trabajo? How do you go to work? ¿Cómo vas al trabajo? How well do you remember different methods of transport in Spanish? Let's try saying a few of them out loud using the sentence, I go to work by. Here's our first type of transport. Do you remember it in Spanish? This is coche. Full sentence for me. Voy al trabajo en coche. Here's our next one. This is autobús. I'm going to move myself out of the way here. Autobús. Let's hear that full sentence. I go to work by bus. Voy al trabajo en autobús. Este es un tren. Voy al trabajo en tren. Don't forget to say these sentences out loud. What would we say for this method of transport? This would be en bici or en bicicleta to give it its full word. I go to work on a bike. Voy al trabajo en bici. And here we have walking. There's two options you can use here. You can say a pie or andando. I go to work on foot or I go to work walking. Voy al trabajo a pie o voy al trabajo andando. Let's take a couple of other funny ones. This could be a barco. Well, some people might get to work on a boat. Voy al trabajo en barco. What about this one? Maybe you do travel a little bit further. En avión. Voy al trabajo en avión. Muy bien. So, ¿cómo vas al trabajo tú? How do you go to work? ¿Y por qué? And why? Why do you prefer one type of transport over another? On the left-hand side, you'll see lots of different adjectives that can be used to describe a journey. Why don't we try them out loud together? Barato, caro, largo, corto, rápido, cómodo, incómodo, divertido, aburrido, pintoresco, emocionante, and interesante. Can you match the Spanish with the English? Hit pause here as you try that task. So here we go, everyone. Have you got your adjectives matched up correctly? On the screen, you'll see the English appearing for each of our lovely Spanish adjectives. This will allow us not only to tell us what type of transport we use, but also to explain why. Shall we try to hear what that might sound like in Spanish? This is your second listening challenge. I want you to listen carefully and make some notes in English. What method of transport are these people using? Can you figure out the reason why? Perhaps also you can tell us who's doing the travelling and maybe where they're going as well. For this one, the transcripts have appeared up on the screen. You can look or not, depending how hard you want it to be. And here's the audio just once over. You control at your end. Good luck, everyone. How are they travelling and why? Can you pick out who they're talking about and where they're going?
1,
Mi hermano siempre va al colegio en autobús porque es barato.
2,
Mis padres van al centro de la ciudad en coche porque es práctico.
3,
Cuando van de vacaciones, mis abuelos prefieren viajar en tren. Dicen que es muy cómodo.
4. Cuando voy en excursiones de colegio siempre viajo en autocar. Es interesante, pero un poco lento. 5,
Mi hermana viaja a la oficina en bicicleta. En su opinión, es bueno para la salud.
Okay, folks, so here we have for number one, it's the brother going to school by bus because it's cheaper. Dad heading to the city centre in their car, or sorry, their parents heading to the city centre by car. It's nice and practical. Her grandparents are heading off on their holidays by train. They say that it's really comfortable. When this person goes on school excursions, they travel by autocar. This is the Spanish word for a coach. It's interesting, but it's a bit slow. And finally, number 5, the sister heads to her office by bike. She thinks it's good for her health. I hope you did well with our second of our listening challenges today. So let's bring all of our questions and answers together now. ¿En qué trabajas? What do you work as? ¿Cuánto ganas? How much do you earn? ¿Cuándo trabajas? When do you work? And ¿cómo vas al trabajo? ¿Y por qué? How do you get to work and why? On the screen, you'll see some sample answers. Those little bits that are in red are going to need changed, however, as on the next two screens, I'm going to give you some prompts for you to practice lots of different Spanish vocabulary, different jobs, wages, methods of transport, and how you get and how much they earn as well. So make a note, if you don't have this on your handouts from us already, on how you answer each of those questions. ¿En qué trabajas? ¿Cuánto ganas? ¿Cuándo trabajas? And ¿cómo vas al trabajo? So here are your lovely prompts. You can see some pictures of our different types of jobs. The numbers on the top are obviously the hours they work, with the days of week circled in red beneath them. You'll see there is a salary and a little picture to represent their method of transport. You may want to consider doing this activity as a written activity to begin, or alternatively, you can practice them out loud in response to the questions. ¿En qué trabajas? ¿Cuándo trabajas? ¿Cuánto ganas? And ¿cómo vas al colegio? Here's 4 for you to work with. And another 4 if you want to keep working hard on your written and spoken Spanish. This has brought us to the end of our lesson. If you've been using the pictures to generate little individual dialogues, it's now over to you to use the Spanish you've learned in this session today to answer those questions about your job. ¿Y tú? ¿En qué trabajas? ¿Cuánto ganas? If you want to share that info. ¿Cuándo trabajas? ¿Y cómo vas al trabajo? ¿Y por qué? Now, don't forget, if you're learning with us, to bring along your work, your notes to your class teacher. Let us take a look at it so we can give you feedback on your progress. If not, you can pop some comments in the below or get in touch with us. We're here to help you every step of the way in your Spanish language learning journey. Hasta la próxima a todos. Until next time, everyone. Adiós y muchas gracias.